Hey, back here. Another sitting here alone. Let me turn this here phone down. Sitting here alone. I'm alone. No one else is here. Everyone else, some people are in Aruba trying to get back. Apparently, he has issues going into a country. Who knew? It's just like that. So we're here, solo show, whatever you want to talk about. Talk about cornhole. Talk about whatever, whatever you want. Put your comment in there. Ask a question. Ask anything. If you're a pro, you want to come on and talk, or just anyone want to come on and talk, send me a message. We'll send the link out if you want to come in. Whatever. It's an open show, open forum this week. Nothing. We still got cornhole that's going on. I'm kind of watching to the left. Hey, there's actually 420 people watching the ACL live feed on Facebook right now. Looking at Jacob Trzynski and Trey Birchfield throwing against each other right now. Looks like Jacob picks up 3 points on that one. So it's Birchfield and Hisner against Bubenheim and Trzynski. A different pair up for that for the pro division. I guess it's just an open. Pros already had their thing. Hisner finally picking up his first win last night in singles, and yeah. So there's going in last night because we had all of the world kind of shut down one more time with the whole internet thing going down and flights being all done in and stuff, and that I've always wondered with that, because you see the pros always coming in last minute. For me, I've always liked getting places earlier, just in case something like that happens. You're able to have the time to get in. So some issues with some people. Apparently, I'm not sure if anyone's heard. AJ Sims, Braden Wilson drove 20 hours to get to Canton, Ohio. I was told that was said a bunch on the broadcast last night, but yeah, I was hoping to get down to Canton. I almost made it to Canton, but unfortunately, family stuff coming up here with some other traveling coming up in August. Did some family stuff, so stayed home. Did another ball hockey tournament this weekend. Finally, that stuff is done. Did get to see, and then later on, I posted about it this morning. Later on, I remember that I did see the Scotland Yards boards at the shop up at JC Cornhole. Showed up this morning. Kids were all throwing bags there, and I was like, "Dang, forgot the tripod, forgot the wireless mics," because we had some NHL players were there. And I was thinking, could did a couple down and back with some NHL guys. Didn't happen. We'll have to do it maybe another time. And yeah, so in the chat, make a comment in the chat. Like I said, I'm solo here this week. The guys, he had issues getting through. I messaged him this afternoon. He's like, he's having issues getting through customs in Aruba to come home. He had issues leaving Canada to go back to the US. So maybe the US just doesn't like him. Maybe he needs to be somewhere outside of the US and kind of doing it that way. I'm seeing Heath Jenkins, you are watching. I can see that in here. Mr. Trevor Huber watching on the YouTube side. But Heath Jenkins watching there. He hit it with Rawls and Holland last night. I know Derek, was it Josh? Josh. Holland is Heath's guy. I know that for sure. Yeah, so like I said, anyone who's watching, you want to come in and talk, we're having an open hangout night if you want to come in. Other thing I want to talk about is starting to plan to get a subscribers hangout happening. So what that will be is, if you go on the Facebook page, you can see the subscribe on there. Some of you have already subscribed on YouTube. That's free. That's whatever you want. That's okay. Facebook side, you go to the Facebook page. There is a subscribe button on the Facebook page. Stop saying YouTube. The Facebook page. That is, I believe it's $15 a year for that. So like less than a cup of coffee, you can help out the Down and Back. Head to some different leagues this year. Anyway, subscribe to that there. we'll be doing a hangout for just subscribers. So I'm going to be, right now there's only 80. It's only 8 that want to be subscribed. So we're going to do a hangout with some of those people. We're going to try and find a time that's perfect to do that for everybody. We're going to kind of start doing like a regular time every other week, maybe type of thing. Just come and hang out, talk, whatever. Almost like a Zoom hangout type thing. And then there will be, and as right now, there is a discount code, Heat Wave. I didn't do a little banner. I should have did a banner for this year. Heat Wave. Let me do one up here really quick here and let you people know. So you have the right one for it. Do something up here right now. But there is a discount code right now. Do something up here like this. See, this is how I roll. I remember things halfway through a show. It's whatever. Here, I put this on the bottom right now. There it is, right there. Coming to 20% off code. Go on to the there's a website on the Facebook page as well. To go to the store, you get 20% off. I know a couple of people have already went and gone and purchased stuff through there. Thank you for that, because any stuff that comes, any kind of, I only get like a small profit because it's not, I'm not actually doing the stuff. So whatever. Go and you can help me again. I want to try and start going to some different leagues, maybe some stuff across the country. Mike Evans is watching, but wouldn't throw bags today. Well, I heard that he's a little depressed, because he got beat by a couple of guys last week. He's saying he's a little hungover. Not sure why. He doesn't seem like that type of hungover type of guy. But yeah. But there's right there. Heat Wave 20 will get you 20% off of the website. Hoodies, bucket hats, there's shorts, t-shirts, whatever you want. I'm gonna start coming up with some new stuff for there as well. Just maybe some show stuff with some different sayings and stuff on it, and whatever. It's just try to have some fun. And then also with being a coming subscriber, I'm going to be setting up a discount code. So once you're a subscriber, you can always get a discount code on the store for getting any merch. He's the best tier 3 champ hungover. Well, I'm probably tier 4 champ sober. So whatever. You see, this week has been an old school week for me. League night this week wasn't the best. I was wearing my OG first ever Octane shirt that I got from Matt. Didn't throw well, and I was like, got a lot of sun today when I was out. No, there was absolutely no shade at all. And so wearing because it's light. Got one of the other OG Octane shirts on. Gotta do stuff with the OG. So I think I want to say just kind of off the top here now, we've got some people watching, is I know we were just in St. John's there a month ago, and I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook here with a lot of the players from Newfoundland, which we are very happy that the crew from the Elite Navigator got back all safe. I know when I see that stuff, it kind of gets me, because family had that. My grandmother, her first husband, used to go between St. John's and Boston, St. John's and New York. His ship went down many, 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 many years ago before she married my grandfather. But anyway, so that kind of it's for almost everyone that has family or any kind of relative stuff in Newfoundland. That once you see that there, it kind of hits home. So thankfully for those guys that they all made it back home, and so that's a good news story from that, because last time we were in St. John's wasn't the best for that there with I believe it was the Ocean Quest thing down there. So good news for that there. So any questions you guys have? Anything you want to talk about? Anyone wants to come in? I'm seeing another OG guy, and if this OG guy if he wants to be like a 9-time, 10-time person to come on the show to talk, send me a message. TP, I'm looking at you. you are more than welcome, as always, to come on because you are my OG favorite player. We talk about Dion Kuza having the man crush on Tanner Halbert. This guy, he's the number one with me. He was an OG with Cornhole. So TP, if you're watching, you want to come in, send me a message, and we'll gladly have you come on here because he is just that type of guy that. Okay, almost had another CNN report like we had last week from Cornapalooza. Almost had one from Canton. Reporter's not there yet. So, but yeah. Derek Barrett, are him and Spencer possibly your favorite new doubles team? You know what? Guys are kind of getting there. I think you guys will do some damage in Ottawa. Calgary was a while ago. Do some damage in Ottawa. I think there is a lot of changes coming. I was told about some of the stuff that could be happening for next year, but unfortunately, late at night, brain was fried. I forget almost all of it. So you will not be getting any spoilers from me because I don't remember anything. I was just talking about the kind of the way the stuff would be going to do. Yeah, you can do. Yeah, maybe Calgary is in October, so maybe Calgary's coming up. I just remember that there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff. Hoping might be some changes in the way that you see the live feeds. Possibly, I'm hoping I'm still around. Let the ACL know if you still want me around doing this here. Because I would love to be doing that there. I know I'm waiting to hear back just kind of what I'm going to be doing coming up here in Rock Hill. So if anyone wants to kind of put me up in a hotel in Rock Hill, I'm fine. Or anyone wants to, has a place for me to stay, carpet, whatever, I'll stay there because I'm only there for a few days. Only doing the first half. Looks like I'm going to probably be there the Saturday to Wednesday, possibly Thursday. We'll see. But yeah, so that'll be a fun time. I know there's look for a lot of stuff to be announced here soon. What's kind of coming up? It's a pretty exciting thing. And yeah, just some stuff to be changing, and I think everything will be for the better. I can't wait to see it. Mr. Fuller, well, you'll have to get like someone like T-Port or one of the other guys to get some stuff because I need some of that 24/7 stuff because that is some of the best. You guys have been great to me. Whenever I've gone live, you guys are 24/7. Have really come through and shared some of my stuff and helped people get to see stuff with the show or when I go live with any kind of the games that we do or anything. And you guys are just great. I love how I'm gonna probably say wrong. I think it was Brandon because I seen Tyler Poitras wearing the 24/7 Cornhole stuff, and we were at the Old Town restaurant in Rock Hill there at the event center, and I was like, hey, those 24/7 guys, they share a lot of my stuff. Like, do you know who they are? Like, who they can get with? And he was like, yeah, it's Brandon right here with me. And then Brandon then introduced me to Lance, and I got to talk with them, and then we just couldn't connect. We were going to get some stuff. It was some hats, some shirts, and hopefully we can get some stuff there. And then maybe Lance, we can do some giveaways on the show here. And I think that'd be great because to get more people putting stuff on 24/7, like tagging you guys to help you guys share it, because you guys are a great way to get stuff out into the cornhole world. Sorry, it was like a 35-degree day, and if I could take this, it's just iced tea. There's nothing else in it. The other pre-show stuff is done. Well, then I'll have to. Lance, hook me up. I'll be down there the first weekend. And if he's down there, then I will gladly take anything because I'm just that type of guy. Cornhole related, like that's merch stuff, yeah. But yeah, it's you guys do a lot of great stuff, and it was great talking to you guys last year, getting to know you, and can't wait for that there. So yeah, so again, folks, here, anything you want to talk about, Lance, if you want to come on, shoot me a message here. I will send you a link. If you want to come on to talk about your stuff, I'll gladly have you come on, or anyone. Just seeing the, just getting messages here, so I'm just making sure I'm getting everything all right from some other people. When's the corn dog stuff coming? Well, it's already out, Russ. I need to get you your stuff. That's all I need. I need to get you some stuff because you've helped me out a lot. But corn dog stuff. Let me see if I can do this here, there. When's the corn dog stuff come out, Russ? Yes, you have the OG shirt, Russ. You do. The wrong button. There you go. There's a link on the YouTube side, and there's a link on the Facebook side. So there, that stuff's out. Stuff is out already, Russ. You just have to go and purchase it. And right now, you use code. Where is it? Right there. Right there. 20% off. Use code HEATWAVE20. We'll get you 20% off merch. Then you become a subscriber. And for like I said earlier, less than a cup of coffee a day. No, less than a cup of coffee a month. You can be a subscriber to the Down and Back page and get 20% off, possibly all the time, or maybe more. We'll see. And then get to hang out with me on a Zoom call every other week. There's Steve Paul. Got to hang out with Steve. Well, I don't have any swag here. It's all on the website. They do that and they ship it out for me, and I just make it up and put it up online. I just kind of design it online and that. So I will I'll see what I can do, Russ. Let's see. I'll just see what I can do. But yeah, I want to make for this year. I want to try and do some stuff with some leagues and kind of getting some out because Russ, I need to get down to you guys on a Thursday night because I'm not sure what scores. I think those black and gold bad guys were beating the double blue guys here tonight. But you guys have done that. You guys, I know in the past you've had some Hamilton Tiger Cats show up, and I think that is fantastic to have some pro football players, like to having pro football players down playing in Canton. I believe it's going to be tonight, I think. Is that tonight? Or was that tomorrow night? Dundas Valley Cornhole Club. You guys still at the Air Force, in Hamilton at the Air Force? I believe so. Check them out on Facebook. You get to hang out with Russ. Rick is better, but you get to hang out with Russ. Russ is Russ. So yeah, so it's that, and there's a lot of great stuff. I know. There's the 4 of them came out. What else was announced this week that I can kind of because I like to jump all over the place. Exactly, Steve. Who's Russ? Who is Russ? But so next year, Cornapalooza, I know I put it out. I forget the dates. I believe it's around the same time. Cornapalooza going to be going off year 2, and I know if it's anything like year 1, year 2 will be better because that's just the way that Adam runs the stuff. And I know Clayton was with that too, and I think it's fantastic what they did. There's been nothing but great reviews I've heard from everybody, including Kylie Pohl. I seen a video that she was just ecstatic that they played that one song. She liked it so much that she even walked away to get like earphones that she could be able to hear that one song a lot better, is what she told me. She had to go back to the camper, and she had like almost like cups that she could hear better. That's kind of what she said. But oh, Kylie, I heard that you really like. I knew that I could drag her out. I knew I could drag her out. That she. Yes, yeah, yeah, and Steve sent it to me. Thankfully, Steve sent it because he's just that nice of a guy. But maybe I can put that video. I'll put something out maybe of Kylie doing that there, and I have another video of Steve as well from a long time ago. Might work well. But yeah, it's gonna be some. It was a fun time. I think from what I've been told, I am going to be there next year for sure, and we'll do some down and back live stuff. Maybe we'll do even a live show. Hopefully, the other guy comes up, and somebody's sleeping on the couch tonight in the Facebook chat. That's what I'm seeing there. But yeah, it was some fun stuff, and I'm hoping to get there next year because I had a little bit of FOMO, the fear of missing out. But yeah, hopefully I can do that there. Hopefully I don't have ball hockey next year at the same time. If not, then I'm going to be doing a lot of driving. But yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing that's been talked about in Canada for a while. It happened, and I think that is a fantastic just having that because it was a fun way for a lot of people to get together and just play. And I talked about it last week. Got to see Megan St. Thomas play again. Oh, I didn't. I got to see that she won again, but I'm really hoping that she can get back in and playing cornhole because both her and her sister Emma, another fantastic player, and maybe Brian, their father, he's okay. It's yeah. But yeah, a lot of great people. Know a lot of stuff coming up. If we've got the Canadian Championships, ACL Canadian Championships, the end of August, that same weekend on the Saturday. If you cannot make it out to Ottawa and you can only go part of the way, head to Peterborough for Adam Hubbart's Summer Ender Bender. I hate that I'm missing it. I've been there the last couple of years. I hate that I'm missing it because Adam runs fantastic events, especially that's Ender Bender. Because I believe this year, the last year it was golf in the morning, cornhole in the afternoon. This year, I was told the golf course has got something else planned. They're doing their some other golf thing on that weekend. So everything is going to be out at Adam's brother's place, which I was there last year, and he's got a lot of space out there for playing, and that will be a fun time. I was able to bring my camper, and like with all Hubbarts, I got to park it on the front lawn, and we had a late night. That's all I will say is a late fun night. But yeah, so if you can't get to Ottawa, go part of the way, go to Peterborough, and see Adam there with Peterborough Cornhole because they do some fantastic things there. Trying to see here. Like I said, if anyone wants to come in, like it's. I know some people are a little camera shy. Like Dougie Squires in Newfoundland, I'm looking at you. You were all nervous coming on the live feed in St. John's, but and not having all you were doing is just talking. You were all nervous, and then you go do video showing off your campsite. Like it's. Yeah, well, I can take this here banner down now. If you want to go over the website, you can check that out. But yeah, it was fun time there. It's cornhole here now in Canada. We're starting to wind down a bit. A lot of leagues taking some time off here now. Even looking forward to next year. As the stuff with Matt, kind of talking with him about what we could do next year or what he's looking to do next year. It's the whole thing of and I think a lot of cornhole leagues find this here because I know Adam Hubbard. I think Adam, if you're watching, you ran a couple nights a week this year. I don't think Cornhole Newfoundland actually takes a night off. I think Adam and Amber and Sean are going all the time there. Most of the leagues all kind of run one night a week. I know Matt here. We've talked about to we was kind of talking about do we branch out and do a couple other extra nights, and that would be in talking about it, it's good for that, but is the way there where you can get some other local directors in your area to possibly run stuff. I think that's um I think that's one way of getting some new people involved, is that the same director doesn't have to run 6 nights. You can have another separate local director run some stuff. Kind of same with the other directors, because there is some changes coming through for next year. I know most people know about it. There's some things that are going to go away with the ACL. I know there's going to be some announcements kind of made here in the very near future, but especially for the local, if you're running multiple nights, instead of it all being on like one person, he's a local director in that area, maybe have a couple people local directors run different. You can be the local guy at this venue, the other person be a local person at this venue, and same with the regionals. You can kind of get them around, because you remember there's the thing where it's the regional thing is like, what is it, like 100 kilometers with 100 kilometers. Well, that's a radius, so it's only 50 kilometers each way for regional, right? So could you have then add a couple other regional directors, and you can, I don't want to say have more regionals in your area a month, possibly, but just to give some players some extra, because it seems like we've now the point stuff is kind of really kind of going taking off here, with people trying to get pro status or whatever. I think people are wanting to get some more time in with regionals, getting in to try and get their points, because remember, you can multiple times you can get some other regional stuff. And I know I'm seeing some person who just started watching. I can see you watching. I'm like Santa Claus that way. I can see you watching. Person who the Iron Man of the ACL, just going to playing everywhere, and it's like that. It's giving people the opportunity to play, giving people the opportunity to get to their best finishes if they want, if that's how they choose to play, and they're trying to go for points. Yes, okay, Jesse, yeah, and that's true, and I know, I think I think in talking to Matt, that is kind of, I think he would like to see it. Not putting words in his mouth, I think he would like to see it, because it was going since 2017 he's been the only director in this KW area. I know we kind of went to Guelph for a little bit. One of his friends was doing stuff in Guelph. Didn't really catch on there. For some reason, it just wasn't big in Guelph. But just trying to get some other stuff in that area, because I know. Yeah, and James, yes, it is. Everyone is there. There is some spots that everyone is on top of each other, but then it's like Jesse said, for KW itself, for regional stuff, everything is driving an hour, right? So I think we could do stuff, because like I was getting back to it with Matt, is he was, for the longest time, he was national conference regional local director here. So he was everything. And I think if we can get some other people to kind of, I don't want to take that stress, but just take that stuff away from him, and maybe having some other regional in this KW area to be able to run some regional stuff. Because it's time to find the time. And then the other thing is, and I know that with James, I know you and I have talked about it offline or when we've been at tournaments. I've talked to a lot of people about it, is still having the issue with venues. Kind of getting venues to realize that if you have cornhole leagues come in, we're gonna make it worth your while opening that night. Because I know there's been a couple here within KW where we've had league nights, and they thought that they may have they thought they may could have been making more money for themselves or whatever, charging us to go in there. And then once we weren't in there any longer, they went, wait a second, we lost a lot of revenue there with your 40, 50 people that came in there that night, because now those are they're now back to being dead nights, right? And I know we've now play at the Moose Lodge in Kitchener, and they have a indoor horseshoe league in the winter, so they've kind of now had the indoor horseshoe league move nights. They've been in there forever. They've now moved nights because they make more when the cornhole people come in, which is fantastic. Although now on Thursday nights, I kind of have been able to kind of joke around with the bartender because I have my back to the people, but we have to go over to the bar area where they have karaoke, and man, I can throw cornhole bags fantastic compared to the way some of those people can belt out those songs. Is all I'll say. But yeah, it's getting the places to realize that, you know, cornhole can be a money maker for them if you bring the people in, and then also getting the people to realize that when we're going into these venues, show them some love. Get you know, buy a drink, even if it's just a pop, a soda, whatever, or an alcoholic drink, whatever it is, or if they have any kind of food there, you know, get something from that venue. Show them that you appreciate them being there, giving you that spot. Because I know, you know, James, you guys down in St. Thomas, you guys have a great spot there. I know people love having you guys down there. Talk with Adam Hubbard. He's the same way with Keystone down there. They even went and kind of, you know, almost redid their whole inside because of the money they brought in with cornhole. Because in the winter, Golf and Country Club, there's nobody in there, right? So it's they're able to go and kind of get some keeping their staff going throughout the year and giving them some extra revenue coming in. So we really need to go if you're going to a new spot. Really, the word just escapes me right now, but just, you know, throw a few dollars to that venue. Don't be, you know, you don't need to be bringing in your own. We've said it so many times. Your own alcohol, no, just give it into that venue. Like it's you're, you know, they're giving up their space and their time. Let's show them some love for doing that, and it's just something that, you know, we need to get more venues is kind of bottom line for this year. And there's some places that went. I know there's a couple places here have been contacting me for KW here that we want to have some other extra league nights, which I think is fantastic. The thing is, I know one of the venues has 10.5 or 11-foot ceilings, so that's the other tough thing as well. So it's just finding venues that are can be suited for cornhole, and yeah, so it's kind of that. So, any other questions from anyone who is who's here? If you want to come in and you want to kind of talk, I'm just seeing some other messages that come in that aren't cornhole related. But yeah, I'm seeing here. I'm not sure if we are into the championship game of but we're looking at over on the ACL feed. Alan Rawls, Chris Kingsbury up 7-0 on Colby Shearer and Sammy Soto. Colby Shearer, guy, I would love to have Colby on the show. I got to meet Colby one May coming home from a race in Charlotte. I went up to Raleigh for a night. I played a league night in Raleigh. Got to play against Colby for a bit. Even got to partner up with him one game. Mark Adams, I believe, ran that night. A great guy out of kind of the Durham area in North Carolina. Yeah, Lance. The first time I met him, it was like I was like, yeah, he was a guy that I really like talking to. I know I had the Octane bags with him because it was Octane at the time. Had that down there with him, but Colby is a great kid. I know. I met him the once, and I didn't get to see him again until Worlds last year. But every time I talk to him, it's like he's known you for a while, and he's just a great kid. I know he just gave up another big round to Chris Kingsbury. James, any idea what Canadians are going to Worlds? Talked. I know we have only two. I know for sure. For sure. Actually, no, there's more than that. I believe Lana Smith is going. I believe Crystal Hagens is going. Um, Amanda Oakley and Doreen Pond from Newfoundland are going because I've talked to them because Amanda and Doreen are staying in the same hotel that I'm possibly going to look at staying at because it's the one I stayed at last year. Valerie Mayo is still looking at possibly going. I'm not sure if you've known any of the other people, James. I'm not sure if you and Corey are going. It's just a hard thing, even for me going, because you got that at the start of August, and then the end of August you have the Canadian Nationals, which is another 4 days. So it's now taking off more time off work. And speaking of that, taking the time off, so just Corey's going. Speaking of taking the time off work, I think it's kind of, I don't want to say funny because it's not a funny situation. We talked about it with Jeremiah last week on the show about the days ticket and the days off doing this here, and then like 2 days later he puts a post on Facebook that UPS is kind of giving him a letter saying too many days off for going to Cornhole. But for me, if you had the vacation time, and you use that for what you want to use it for, right? But that's kind of the hard thing that a lot of people are running into right now is regular jobs and getting time off to go to all these events, and that so going back to the K's, going to the Worlds. There's Corey. So Corey's the only male pro I know right now that's going for sure. I think. Well, Bernie's probably going. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it. I'm going to guess that actually Brandon and Tracy are going to probably be going down there. Trying to. I guess we have possibly we got the 8. So there's. I'm not sure if Dion's going or not. No, but there's those 8 that qualified for to go. Well, there's the 5 or whatever, 6 that are going to try her. But there's top 4 females, top 4 males are going into that event with the U.S. So Derek is breaking news. Derek is out, not going. I tried to get him to go, but no. So it's that it's a tough haul because you're down there for 9 days. Like I can't get the full 9 days off for going down there, and I guess it's really only 8 because do Canadians really have to go into that pro qualifier on the Sunday if we're going to be having other pro qualifiers coming up for the Canadian pros? You look at that. Derek's going to work 5 months this year. 5 on, 7 off. That's not bad, Derek. That's but yeah, I'm not sure. Then I guess after this year is the. Do we have how many do we have going to Worlds beyond this year? Is the other thing, but it's a and that's just what I was kind of thinking there, James, is with Ottawa. Does the Worlds make sense? Is the Worlds now I think 'cause before, and I don't want to say this the wrong way here, because if you look at all the major North American sports, I guess except for the NHL, is they call themselves world champions. Baseball world champions, NFL is world champions. Now the cornhole is all is around the world. Is the lack of a better term U.S. championships for the ACL? Are they really going to be worlds now? Because every country is having their own championship. So it's now, could it be worlds? Could that be a thing where, the WCO has their thing, is having their thing in Trier? Could that WCO thing be moved to just, that be the worlds at Rock Hill? Right? Could that now make it worlds? Right? Because I know we do have some people from Australia that are coming up. Derek, it can be very hard. Very, very hard. Just watch me play. It's not just bags in the hole. It's a very, very hard game. Very hard. Wow, Colby and Sammy Soto coming back 11-11 against Alan Rawls and Chris Kingsbury. Haven't had the chance to actually meet and talk with Alan. Had a chance to talk with Alex Rawls before, back when he was very young in Cherokee, North Carolina in 2018. Just a kid. But he's another guy that I would love to have him back on the show. Just had a birthday coming. Mr. Kyle Hill, how you doing? But yeah, it's so the world is an interesting topic that you can really kind of get into, because, like you said, is do Canadians need to go to Rock Hill now for those finals if we have Ottawa? Mr. Matty King. Okay, yep. So Derek got to play with Chris in Florida. Person told him, but yet, Rob, that's my biggest problem is the guy throwing my bags all the time. He's a horrible thrower. Just he really sucks. Lack of a better term. I'll try and see something here. But yeah, it's that's the kind of thing that that we're kind of going through with this here, with the way this here kind of goes. It's the guy throwing my bags has never been a great thing. Let's see if we can possibly get somebody to come in here. Let's see. Send something out. See if someone wants to come in to talk. We'll see. Yeah, I've had a lot of people down that much, Derek, before, and they always seem to come back and kick me in the backside. But yeah, it's let's say I really haven't. I guess the only real pro I've really had to face in a game was back Cherokee, and I've mentioned this here on the show many times, is playing against Ryan Smith, one of my first times down there. Okay, so we may have someone come in. We may not. then it just won't be me just kind of going on and on and on here. But yeah, we got. I'm pretty surprised myself. I was like, maybe we'll go like half an hour tonight. We got about 45 minutes. Even with that other guy in the air, I've seen that he's not even watching. He's in the air, probably not even watching. But we'll bring this guy in. He can go underneath the voice section there, Mr. Matty King. How you doing, Matty?
Doing all right. How you doing over there?
That's right. We'll put you underneath the voice logo. I know you're way better than that guy.
There we go. Now we're back.
But yeah, so
how turn on the lights in this place, get this thing fired up again.
So how's things going? We haven't had a chance to talk in a while.
No, I've been kind of in and out, and I peeked in on you guys a little while ago and tried to give a wave, and just been kind of in and out. So
well, you got that big tournament coming up here in just a little over a month.
Yeah, that's always fun. It's always something new and interesting. So.
I've still got to get down there, but now with our nationals being that same weekend now, it's going to be a little tough. I can't teleport back and forth between Ottawa, Ontario, and Ventura, California. Although Ventura, California is a little sexier place to go to.
You're saying that the Canadian nationals for cornhole are on the same weekend?
Same weekend as Spencer's.
Who's organizing that?
It's a really good friend of mine.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would just say I'm going to change you guys over to a better system so I can actually not hold this thing all night. Cool. I mean, and I think that because is it always on the end of is it always on the last weekend of August?
This is the first ACL Canada Nationals. So this is our first run at it. So
okay. All right. Well, then I mean, it would just be something that would need to be adjusted over time. Like, okay, well, Spencer's is this time. You can talk to John, and then you and John can, and then obviously they would have to figure that out because Spencer seems to be one of the things where it's kind of important to go.
Yeah, and I think this year was just venue availability as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of with that there. So it's and the big thing here for us is there seems to be a little bit more venues here, especially in Ontario now, are starting to kind of really want cornhole to come there. They still want to charge a huge price for us to go, but they want us in their venue. And I think that's still the thing of, and I talked a little bit before on the show here, is that we need to try and get these venues to realize that, bringing us in, they can bring in a whole bunch more money, having us there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother crowd of people that that we can bring down and engage with, and it puts a lot of test to a lot of other people and gives the Canadian crowd the chance to put the test out as well. So it's kind of a big kind of good matchup for everybody. It gives everybody an opportunity to play. That was one thing in the beginning of when I started. It wasn't there wasn't a it wasn't like it wasn't like it is now, where you can kind of swoop out to an open in the middle of the country and you could have your hands at some of the greatest players in the world. And back 9 years ago, before the ACL, I mean, you did have ACL and there were some great players, but it wasn't the influx of 800 to 1 million players probably we have now of a total encompassing playing community. I'd say we're at about 1 million. I mean, ACL right now is currently at like 350,000 current members or something like that. And then we have all of our other groups.
Yep.
But I think our encompassing is like 1 million players that are really intense into it. And then probably another 500,000 that are backyard. So 1.5 million, it doesn't quite bring anything close to some of the larger sports that have been around for, hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, let's just bring golf into it. We don't have that crowd yet, you know?
Exactly. And, well, one of the big things that we've got for coming up in October here in Calgary, which is your side of the country, you might be able to come up there, is the casino there in Calgary has chipped in an extra $15,000 into the pot for that.
Saw
So
that.
they've got, which is fantastic, because that's the first time a venue has done that. Which, in the States they see it all the time, but they've got everything right there. They've got the hotel, they've got everything to do right there. So they're seeing people coming to use their venue. I think
Yeah.
that's what it's. I think that's what really, we're kind of looking at there, because we've had some things here, a conference event in Niagara Falls once, where they
Uh-huh.
had a hotel in the venue, like the venue, like where we had it was a hotel, and they still didn't even kick any. There was no kickbacks to players for staying in the hotel. There's no discounts for that. But these, Calgary's giving a discount for the hotels, and then kicking money in the pot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's still a word that nobody understands. It doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people. And the ones that it does, you're going to see these kickbacks. You're going to see these. I mean, if there was anybody who was at like if the hotel community had a convention, you would think that these guys would be going, you know what, you guys have to have cornhole in your events because they're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of beer. I mean, they sell more beer than any other event that ever goes down. And people, I mean, we had problems with Vegas for a while. I mean, during COVID, we went to Vegas right after that, and we did Bag Mania in Vegas, and we had a problem with a lot of the things saying, "Oh, well, they had a big, they were panicked." And what happened was, the first day we drank them out of all their beer in the hotel, and they were like, "How's that possible?" And they panicked, so now they want us back, and so it's something that's building on another level. It's slow, but it's still there, and then that's cool to see Calgary. Do you see like people coming across border to play in these Calgary? I mean,
Well,
see a lot
so
of
in our last one in Calgary that we had back in, I was there in what, April. I think Calgary was April. Um, we had Mike Ferrer come up from Florida, Yeti Irwan come up. Bobby Speary is up here all the time from New York. He went to every one of our opens up here this year. But we've had a couple, and I think some added money in the pot will kind of help out with kind of bringing some names up. So I'm kind of hoping we'll have a bit more, because we've seen at each open here, we've had more and more Americans come up to play.
yeah.
And once they kind of see the atmosphere, I know, like we talked about on the show here before, is that Brady Foster, Nick Patuski, you had Sean Farrell, Nathan Metot. They all seen the way, like in St. John's, end of the night, we've got a final going on, and there's still 200 people or more standing around the court watching these finals, kind of getting into it. And it's like, you don't see that at any other big tournament, where people are sticking around there till the end.
No, that's something I was thinking to myself locally. I find myself, coming into, the ship. I'm in the ship. I'm waiting. We're looking for, and I'm looking around, and like everybody's gone. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, that's a tough deal. Where it's like when you have a victory and you've been fighting all day, and people peel away over the day. And when I think about it, I'm like, well, that's kind of messed up. But then I think about it too, and I'm like, well, I do the same thing. I mean, people get tired. It's, cornholes, that's what the one guy in the court, the guy was saying, just throw it in the hole. No,
Yeah,
it's not that easy. It's a
yeah,
long day. And if you're outside in the weather, and, and people who drink, they just want to get home after they lose, because what do they want to hang out for? So, I get it. And when you say that there's a lot of people that hang around, that's a venue I'd love to go to, because that's how, when I was traveling after COVID, and I did a lot of stops through the Midwest, the Regalia was one of them. I did every single one of the Regalia tournaments. And one of the things was that, we always had people, and it was like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. You got Matt Guy and, Trey and Birchfield out there just battling at 3 in the morning with no sleep.
yeah,
And there's a crowd of people. There's 50, 60 people at 3 in the morning just supporting the game and supporting the players. So
yeah. Yeah, and then we just had it here last weekend, which trying to get Diane to come up, and maybe you might be able to go cross country to come up this year. We just had our first installment of Cornapalooza up here, which is a campground full of cornhole players, and it's just a cornhole weekend. And then the other thing, which I think that every tournament should kind of get into, is the end of each night, because the tournament was done, cornhole was done about like 7, 8 o'clock at night. then at the campground they had bands come in, and then
Yeah.
everyone was camping, and there was bands there, and I think that even other bigger tournaments maybe, you know, Cornhole's done at like 10 o'clock. Everyone usually leaves. Everyone's kind of even like we just talked about. No one sticks around for championships, but that keep people around if they know there's going to be a band that maybe someone likes. They're coming on after the event.
Yeah, that is an enticer. Surf rodeo. We just got done with surf rodeo down here. It changed venues from the beach because of the beach, the city, the state, the EPA. There was just tons of stuff. Everybody wanted their hand in the kitty. Eventually, 2022 was the last time that they had it on the beach, and then this year they brought it into the fairgrounds. And so we built a. I don't know if you saw the post. If anybody goes into my post and checks it out, you can actually see we built a sandbox. Like literally, we built a 16 court sandbox. I mean, it was huge. It was 110 feet by 50 feet. It was huge, and it was about a foot and a half thick. So I mean, you weren't touching the ground. You were on the sand, and surf rodeo is a massive band. It's a huge music festival. So it was nice because while you're throwing bags, you got this huge music festival blaring music out, and there's it's a huge thing. So and then afterwards, there's music into the night. So
Mhm.
the cornhole players got they got the ability to actually play for a lot less than it would have been to cost the weekend because they also got to play and a chance to win. So they kind of got the double dip, and so um, you know, it was a great weekend. Brett Phillips, he's the tournament director for Surf Rodeo Cornhole, and he's probably one of the funniest commentators and just announcers. He does it all weekend. He's hoarse. It's a great event.
Mhm.
So um, yeah, but
Yeah,
that's good.
like I kind of said before, because my cousin does a music show, and there was a couple guys from California that were in that. The one time I was talking about, this cornhole tournament, the surf rodeo, and they knew about it because they went for the bands at surf rodeo, right? And
Yeah.
so I was like, it's kind of like putting a couple things together. But I think if we can incorporate bands with at end of events, I think we could get a lot of people kind of sticking around and kind of because cornhole events are fun, right?
Yeah.
Because you're seeing people you may not have seen for a while, and if you can, you know, stick around, have a few more drinks, and watch a band, then that's even better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it's a huge draw, and yeah, it's nice to have people to stick around. And I mean, well, it's nice to have people stick around and watch you in the finals or running for the finals, and that's the thing that would be an enticer. But I was listening, right when I came in on your feed, you were talking about the worlds, and this is a
Yeah,
good topic. I was typing, I was
yeah,
desperately typing, and I was like, he's never going to get to read this whole
yeah,
fucking thing. And I'm like, thank God you brought me on because
yeah.
I gotta feel I have an opinion on that world thing, and I think that you had a huge point where you know because it has expanded to multiple countries, and you're right, the WCO, ACL created the WCO back when, I mean, I was close. I wanted to make the world. I wanted to make that myself because I could see that that's where it's going,
Mhm.
and 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 are they're doing the isn't it the what is it that they're having over there in France, right? Are they having that in
Well,
France?
they had it in France last year, and then this year is
What?
in Trier, Germany. They're having the
Yeah,
WCO tournament there.
it's the championships, right, or finals?
Yeah. So last year it was a 2 out of 3 format where it was 2 singles games and a doubles game. Now this year there's teams of 6 for this year. So I'm not sure just kind of what the format's going to be, but it's still going to be all the same countries that are there,
Mhm.
right? Kind of vying for second place because it's as Donnie says, second place is up for grabs, especially at that one because we know the Americans are going to be there to win it, right? But
Yeah.
it's because cornhole in Europe is just catching on like crazy.
Yeah, it is. And here's and I think when you were saying that, now that we get to call worlds worlds, I think that there's an adjustment. I think that worlds, the timing for worlds is good. I mean, I think personally that if you could do like a Canadian run, like a country. So the country makes their run, right? And then
Mhm.
they make their run for their country. And it's almost like Olympics, pretty much. You'd be
Yep.
like, make your run, and then here you go. You've got your final singles, and you've got your final doubles, and you're down to the semi quarterfinals or whatever it is, the quarterfinals, and
Mhm.
you've got this Canadian pack, and then you've got the
Yep.
French pack, and then you've got these little packets, these world packets, and they're all like in a limbo, kind of at the end of their seasons. And then what they do is ACL would make an adjustment to Worlds itself, maybe push it around a little bit to accommodate and have all these timed up so that these people could fly into South Carolina. Instead of a 1 week operation, it's a 2 week now. The part of the first week is the world section where, all these countries are coming together to battle for supremacy. And it's
Yep.
here, not in Europe and not in Canada. And we're not flying everything
Yep.
around. We're locating and centralizing. I like to say America, I'd like to say it was in the US, but who knows? I mean, maybe it's something that because it's a world thing now and Australia's in it. Keegan B isn't he the director of the Australian ACL?
There's Keegan and there's Daniel Turner in Australia as well.
Okay.
I know Daniel and we've been trying to cut because he wants to come on a live show and a live hangout like this year, but and we'll see. And the other thing with that is that the Canadian season now. So the Americans are done at Worlds is basically is the end of the American season.
Yeah.
Our nationals is the end of August. Europe's ACL Europe ends in November.
Yeah, that doesn't make
Right, so
sense.
we have to try and get all those there all kind of connected and kind of going in
Yeah, and
that
I think
direction.
it's not going to be too hard. I mean, ACL operates pretty much all of this. The ACL is the
Yep.
governing body for all of this, which means that this could very well be organized in we're starting. This is a very new point. I mean,
Yep.
this whole operation in the last 5 years, 4 years, sorry, is all new. I mean, we're just
Yep.
testing the waters, feeling it. ACL is grabbing as much of the world as it can to gather the groups together and get them to play on a certain level. And I think, in the next 10 years, you would find that they will have an organized operation where everything falls at Worlds, like you said.
Mhm. Yeah, because that's the other thing as I kind of touched on as well is you look at the professional sports, whether it be NBA or NFL or whatever, is their champion is the world champion, and it's like, well, there's other countries that have leagues that play in this as well, right? So it's kind of just getting that where we now are ACL is that one league that is worldwide,
Yeah.
right? So there's got to be a way that we can get into that.
Yeah, it'll happen. I'm pretty sure that once we see that, it, it it's bound to happen. And I think you're right. It's just one of those things it'll come to happen. I mean, so, but one of the things I'm doing is I've been meaning to do it. I did it in 19, I think. No, 20. I think I did in 20 or 21. I did I cruised the Midwest kind of. I did a little bit of a tournament thing in the Midwest for most of the year. And then, um, so I think I want to do it one more time, but this time I think I'd like to, because the timing for my availability to travel now is like November on. But the problem with
Mhm.
November on is I'm going to be running into this massive weather problem for like 3 months.
Yep.
And I'm going to drive. I prefer to drive. It just makes it much easier because I can put stuff in my car, not just tents and set up. I just want to kind of play social. I want to kind of just be me and just
Mhm.
socialize, maybe bring my golf clubs, and try and do the West Coast in like the part of the year where it's not so crazy trying to drive through the snow.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe the West and the South, but I'd like to make it over to um, Donnie. I like to make it over there at some point and end there. And I don't know if I could fly out from any one of those airports out there to Europe and make it from there. So do the US tour, Canada
Mhm.
as well. Like I'll peek up. I'm going to
Yep.
jump up to you guys and try and join you guys for some games. I know that brain farting, but Six Nations.
Yep. Yeah. They're right up there within like a 45-minute drive from me.
So I mean,
Yep.
join Six Nations, join you guys, join you, and then eventually make my way April ish if I can April, May, right around there, jump over to Europe and try and catch a couple of the opens and just be there for 3 months.
Hmm.
And then I'd like to do from that, if I could, if it's possible, just say, screw it, we're going to fly down to Australia and see
Yep.
Keegan. I'm dying to meet him. So, um, but try to do like a small world tour on my own, just because not a lot of bag makers are doing world tours.
No, not at all.
Um, and we should. I would love to get all 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or, get some of us together and do kind of a bag tour, and meet the people that are out in the world. I mean, Japan's got a cool little situation. So,
Hmm.
Rising Sun, we've got Japan Cornhole Association that does it right on the beach. There's a lot of fun stuff around the world that um, I'd like to do. So I will be in motion. So people who are listening and seeing this is a good little opportunity for me to say, hey, I will be in your state at some point. You can hit me on Messenger. I mean, I'm totally accessible, and be like, hey, come to my tournament, and I'll come and I'll hang out and we'll throw bags, and we'll do that. So that's kind of a plan I'd like to do. So
So we're talking, and I've talked to we talked before having you come on a show. So now we're alone without the other voice to take over all the time. But the for some people who don't know you, let's kind of take a step back and kind of how you got your where you've come from in the sport, because I know where it is, and some people just may not know. Just kind of there's that one other show in the States that calls people bagsmiths, but I think you are the actual bagsmith of cornhole, because you kind of you've been around.
yeah, yeah. I made my first cornhole bag 10 years ago, in 2014. It was just duck cloth and corn, and it was a figuring out process. There was nobody to show me how to make it. There were some little templates on the internet. I mean, there wasn't what we had. I mean, the Facebook groups were maybe 20 groups. Okay, or Addicted to Cornhole didn't exist. Cornhole was still a jokeable, laughable thing. ACA was the governing body. ACO was the tournament thing. I mean, when I looked up sizes and things, I did my information from the internet, digging up bag sizes. When I tried to figure out how to make the closing seam on a folded duck cloth bag, I literally couldn't figure it out. And one day I was trying to make a bag for holding ball bearings for my slingshot when my cousin and I were going to go camping. And I made a fold, and I folded the top in and folded it again and figured out that was a closing fold on it. And then I was like, wait, I figured that out. Once I figured that out, I got the size, dimensions, weight right. And then I just made corn bags and sold them locally here, just to help my buddy out. Cause he was paying $30 for 8. And I was like, look, I'll give you 8 bags for $20, and I'm making 15. They're costing me 5. And I'm like, what? This is a great little biz.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, and I'm trying to get national with corn bags, but I just supplied the people around me here with those. And while I was doing that, I created SoCal Cornhole, and and from SoCal Cornhole, I made this brand called Money Bags, because everybody's like, oh, that's money, make a shot, it's money, So I said Money Bags, and I made Money Bags way back in like 2015. I had Money Bags, made some weird looking bags, some interesting stuff. But at the time ACO was coming around, we had CCA in California. There was a lot of stuff going on. I was making duck cloth bags with suede on them. When I was doing that locally, they were one of my local guys from the 805 Cornhole. I tried to bring a suede and duck cloth bag to a tournament, and he told me I couldn't use it because it was cheating. Believe that? Because the bag would stop while everything else slid off. So I mean, the opposite now is cheating. It's like that was cheating. So
Yeah.
I did a lot of that with the corn, and then we live in humidity. We live where the marine layer comes in. We're playing from 12 o'clock until 6 or 6:30 at night. Marine layer. I mean, it's kind of come in tonight. Comes in every night, and the boards get soaking wet. And duck cloth is cotton, and it absorbs water, and it just sticks. It sticks worse than suede. So the bag would just stop sliding, and it was horrible. And I was like, well, what is going to repel water? I thought, what repels water? I'm tired of this. I tried to get to the end of the night and throw my arm
Yeah.
out. What repels water? And I thought about like the slicker that you put on. I was thinking, like, what is that thing you put on? What's
Yeah.
it made of? And I looked it up. I mean, you got to really, I was like, what is it made of? So I looked it up. I mean, that's how like crazy it was. And I'm like, oh, it's polyester. Really? I'm thinking disco. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
polyester. You know, we're doing disco dancing out of
Yeah.
polyester. And Ryan Windsor come out for a tournament. The first one of the throwdowns he had come out with, and he had brought a. I mean, look, he had brought a bag called like the Lightning bag, and it was a polyester bag, but it was a real thick material. It didn't break in. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, let me see if I can find that. Well, I found that one, but it didn't work. It like didn't slide. But I found another material. And that material slid across the water, like really good, like unbelievably good, slid across the water. And so I put that material on the suede, and I was like, well, it cuts through the water like a razor. So I was making bags that are called razor bags. And that's where that fast material came from. It's called Brave. Solarium Rave is the name. It's not a secret anymore. Everybody uses it. I mean,
Yeah.
I could literally tell you this now, and anybody who wants to make bags, it's not a secret. It was. I
Yeah.
managed to hold that secret up to a point where I got to sell the brand. I mean, I sold this brand with the secret alone. I mean, that's how like new it was. Nobody knew where to find this stuff. I mean, and at the
Mhm.
moment, so I'd made that material and brought that in, and everything was handmade. Everything was handmade on just a basic brother sewing machine. And in 2017, right around there, 2018, I'd sold Razor because back then, you know, you couldn't find people that were willing to invest serious amounts of money into a game called Cornhole. So the only way that I could elevate and bring money in to raise capital was to actually sell the value of what I had. And that's how I did. I sold Razor and I made Dragon bags. But before I sold Razor, I made a Slide Right had come out, and Slide Right was using another type of polyester. Okay. They had figured out this polyester thing too, but it was a slower thing. I mean, the whole country was tripping. They're like, Razor, I can't throw a Razor bag. It's too fast. They're like, it's too fast. I can't throw it. And I'm like, just turn the bag over, suede on the bottom. I mean, they couldn't figure this out. So what happened was I was looking at the Slide Right, and I'm like, this thing's a little bit slower on the fast side than a Razor. That's why everybody loved it, because it was a little bit slower.
Yeah.
So I went to Joann's and I found a fabric that was very similar. And I have it up here on my shelf. I don't know, here. This thing here, this bag right here is the product of putting the Slide Right fast side and the Razor fast side together. And when I put the both fast sides together, once again, everybody was like, dude, are you nuts? Like, are you out of your mind? Why are you putting two fast sides? And I was like, well, because the Slide Right fast side slides really nice in the moisture. Like, it slides up the moisture real easy, and it kind of has a slower speed to it. And the Razor fast side cuts through it all. So you can still set a block, but slide it up the board and set a block in the humidity, like wet
Mhm.
board. You could just do that. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, watch. So I showed them what was going on. And that's how a double fast bag. So I made the first double fast bag. And then right after I made the first double fast bag, we had the inflow of the Game Changer, which was just two pieces of Razor material put together with a patch. They made the All Slide, which was the pretty much the copy of the bag I just showed you. So we got double fast bag. So I came up with this double fast bag, and then that just took off. So
Mhm.
did that, sold that, and then just put a bunch of money into Dragon bags, getting jerseys. I got my first pro deals from Dragon bags in like 2019. I made the first hyper fast. So like the 10 plus bag, I
Mhm.
made that bag too. So I mean, I just came up with a lot of stuff, and it was pretty much just for my purpose, because I wanted the bag to move in the wet. So I came up with all these different materials. So it was just a long run, and now I've had dragon bags for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, like 6 years now. So I've had dragon bags for 6 years. I just acquired a business partner, and he came in 2000, like right in 2023 is when he really started to like put his leverage of like his business knowledge and everything in. So we had a really good 23 season, and we're having a killer 24. The bags have been on TV every year. Even prior to him, I had my bags on TV for quite a long time. So had a huge network of people in the United States, and I couldn't have done it without everybody. If you're throwing a dragon bag, couldn't have done it without you. If you are one of the guys that was in there, like when I switched from razor to dragon, and
Like
you
we said,
stuck around, right?
Trevor, like I showed you Trevor's bags before. Like they were like the red razor bags that we showed a while ago, and he still, if he could continue using them at a league night, he would. It's his
Yeah,
go-to bag for it's now. I kind of give him a little bit of crap because he's like, oh, that's my outside bag now. I'm like, did you not hear Maddie say that bag is worth like a ton of money now because everyone would just love to have that bag and you're throwing it outside. That's your outside go-to bag.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's been a fun trip. I mean, I've made a lot of iconic bags. I made a bag that has the dragon and the razor on it. Um, that's a very iconic bag. There was
it's a,
only maybe 5 or 6 of those ever made. That's the transition of the double fast from razor to dragon. So I put both. At one point, I owned them both. I owned them both, so I could do that. So there's some stuff out there. So I made some iconic bags. Um, it's been such a fun trip. I've been here so long, and like the length of time that I've been in this industry and the game, I've seen everything. I mean, just so much stuff, and it's so interesting to see, the relationships that I've created prior to, no pun intended, prior to all the ACL, all the organized stuff. I mean, I knew Tanisha Lashley from Addicted long
yeah,
before. I mean, I knew her when she first started that. I mean, it wasn't there, and then it was.
yeah.
Brandon Greba, we were talking, years before we had been really bag makers, and he was a bag maker. So I'm good friends with I'm pretty much good friends with all the bag makers, because my one thing I wanted to do in the very beginning when this thing was going was, if somebody was trying to do something, I want to help them out. I'm not against any of these bag makers. I want to help them out.
Hmm.
Prior from Ultra, we talk all the time. I talked with him at Surf Rodeo. He managed to come to Surf Rodeo, and we actually played a game where we stood next to each other and battled each other. It was like an
Hmm.
epic moment that I thought was going to be like paparazzi and hundreds of photos. And look, it's the Bagsmith against, it's
Yeah,
Dragon Bags against Ultra. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so, and it was a fun time. So,
Well,
it's,
and to that extent, I think the bag makers need to have a face out there because Donnie and I talked about it in Drummondville, Quebec. Here, Jeff Reynolds was there, and he walked right through the middle of the venue, and nobody knew who he was.
yeah.
Right, like it's another one of like the guys like yourself that have been around for a while. That it's like maybe that's a cool thing is to have all the bag makers actually have a tournament against each other.
I'd come up with a concept, and I think I still have some drawings of the layout, but I created a thing called it was like the Battle of the Bag Makers. Cause remember the Battle of the podcasts or whatever? It was
Yeah,
the Battle of the
yeah,
podcast. Well, at
yeah.
the time I said, it'd be great to have a Battle of the Bag Makers. And it was supposed to be a charity event. And I think, it was like $2,000, $2,500 entry per bag maker, and all of it went to a nonprofit. And then what it was when we were going, I set it up to where, you know we're trying, if we did it right, we could raise like 50 grand. And then what we would do is in the venue, in the city of the venue where we held the event, we would have the organizer or operator of the venue. It was supposed to be Chad Smith at the time. We were organizing to have Chad Smith. And I would say, look, why don't we have Chad Smith pick out a local organization we could just donate like half of this to, and then we'll take the other half and we'll just donate it to a choice of a cause of our choice. So, and it's a big feat to do something like that. And it fell through because it's very difficult to get us all in one room.
Yep.
It's very difficult to get us all in one room. We considered Worlds at one point, like maybe we'd all be at Worlds and then maybe we could have a side thing at Worlds, but that's confusing. So I don't know if we're ever going to get a chance to do something like that. But I did set it up. I had some ideas, and it just kind of went dormant. It's not over, but I think you're right. I mean, the thing was we were supposed to have 5 live stream broadcasts. It's just for the bag makers. We're going to do it was like play with the pro. So, I mean, play with the bag makers. So we're going to have a blind draw like on Friday, and then there'd be the bag makers, and then there'd be Joes, and then the Joes would get to blind draw into a bag maker, and then we would play, and then we do a blind draw with the bag makers. So bag makers had a blind draw. We'd have to play with each other as a team, and and then there's a big singles event. And the singles event was what it was for. We're not trying to make any money. So I don't know if somebody out there can find a way to, organize us all together. I'm all for it. You can take the idea. It's not like something I'm trying to patent. This is something that's for charity. And I was hoping that, it would get done, but it didn't, and it's not over. I mean, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then Trevor Huber said he just used those bags last night, and those razor bags make a hell of a blocker when they're damp. And then Lance Fuller said that he just got a set of each of the DMB. I guess he got my shorts to go with the 24/7 jersey. That's fine. So that's the first 2 pairs of shorts that I've sold, which is fantastic for Lance. But yeah, they're a couple. They're guys I want to be able to work with them because they're just do 24/7 live feeds. Whoever's got live feeds, tag them in their thing, and they put them out on their Facebook page for everyone to kind of watch. Which I think that's been the great thing that Facebook, although sorry, Tanisha, the cesspool that addicted to cornhole has become at times. But it's just the Facebook has been able to just kind of help grow our community. Because I know we can say that because Donnie's not here. We're growing the game with Facebook and make that just a whole lot better.
Yeah. And I'm definitely gonna make it up your way. I do need to do a Canada run. I preferably would not like to fight the snow, so I'll probably come up later in the year, obviously in the summer. And there's not much between, is there? It's like East Coast and West Coast, so I'm not going to be like a big driving operation here. It might not be. It might have to be like I'll drive up, I'll drive above me. That's Vancouver. Sorry, Vancouver.
I'm hearing that there could be something in that area coming up, possibly soon. I know there's some leagues that are starting up there, so I'm not sure if we're gonna have another big event. But I know Calgary with Calgary in October, that's gonna be a pretty good event there. Then if coming up with, I want to do something with the guys up in Six Nations here, because they are the first Indigenous cornhole league in Canada here, and then they've got some great people and some great stuff, and I've been able to talk to them a bunch of times here now, and I really need to go and do a live feed from one of their events.
Yeah. Where's Donnie?
So he lands in another little under an hour, because he was in Aruba. He had to go to Aruba.
When I saw that, I was tripping. I was like, "Is he fucking with me?"
Yeah, no. His wife. It was a wife's work thing that he had to go to in Aruba. So it's
bummer.
Exactly. Yeah, that's gotta suck when your wife says, "Oh, we have to go to Aruba for work."
Yeah. I guess he found cornhole.
Yeah. He said last year he beat up on all of her bosses for cornhole, and he was going to do it again. Do it again this week. So yeah, we'll see. We'll have stories here next week, and Dougie here is saying for you to come up to Newfoundland. Newfoundland's the one that is the biggest. Is it's not our biggest open we have here, but it's the one that I don't know. There's just I know that it's because my family's there. I have that different feeling, but just it's an open there where it's just you just get a different feeling because everyone is just there for fun, and it's the most backyard open that I've ever been to. It's just
where is it? Like, where do they hold it?
So it's in the curling club there, right? But it's just the feeling of all the players there that they all like. It's one where you have like 200 people. Like well, this year for one of the finals when Val Mayo, a local Newfoundland player, actually even for when Dion Kuza was playing Brady Foster in the final. Like I said, there was about 200 people out around the court. Then in behind me was their lounge viewing area where the bar is, and there was people like 4 or 5 deep right behind me behind glass, and then there was some people upstairs as well. They actually, luckily enough for us, for curling, the boards were actually right above 2 of the houses, so where the rings are, so they were able to turn those cameras on. So people inside that are like 4 and 5 deep could see them on the TV monitors.
That's awesome.
Inside, right? And and it's just it's
well,
a venue where
I definitely got to be there for that one. That sounds way too much fun. I'd almost like to just be in that part of the crowd watching, being up in the very top and watching from inside and experience
and
that.
For them, when they get going, when there's a local player, like you can feel the pressure on the glass, like it's going to come through, like they're banging on the glass. It's absolutely crazy. And then we go out and then you can get screeched in there as well, which is if you're okay with kissing a fish and taking a shot, then yeah. So
won't be the first fish I've kissed.
Yeah. But it's just it's a great time, and then everyone goes out each night, and it's just a fun place to be. Which because they're like I've talked with their leagues there, they run I think 6 nights a week in St. John's with their regular league nights, and they're getting like 60 to 80 people out a night for like 6 nights a week.
6 nights a week,
just to league night.
What?
Is that's what they get for their regular league nights. It's insane.
It's a lot of players.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man. I mean, that's astronomically a lot of players. Like, I don't know if people listening understand how many people that is. Like, we have league, but it's like on a Thursday, and it's like 80 to 90, teams, But that's like Thursday. And it's like once a week. You're like, we get 60 or 80, and that's like every day, 6 days a week.
Yeah. And then the other thing is they've so their league is finished for the season, so they do a lot of fundraisers and kind of cash nights. So Thursday night, when the world shut down with Microsoft there, and the ACL app wasn't working because of the Microsoft thing, they had those 80 people there, and they did it all by paper.
Yeah. Right.
So
can't you just do it by paper? I mean, get the printer. Get the printer real quick. That doesn't run on Microsoft. Just print. Yeah. Wait. The program runs on it. Forget it. We don't need that. Just give me the paper and a ruler. We'll do this all by hand.
Yeah. Kind of old school. Really old school.
Like a ruler and a pencil. Microsoft doesn't own that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was fun. I want to thank you for jumping on with me here tonight, so people just didn't have to listen to my voice. And we finally got to kind of do a show with you, kind of talking your background.
It's awesome.
Because I think you are one of the. I think you're a Mount Rushmore guy of cornhole.
Thank you.
With the stuff you'll be able to do with the bag technology, and I think, like I said off the top, there you are probably the bagsmith
Well, I love
cornhole.
hanging out and just, chatting with you now and after, but, I love
Yep.
coming and hanging out. I love listening to your show. I mean, I really do. I
Yep.
love listening to your show, and I can't wait
Oh
to
yeah.
make it up and actually be next to you. I'll be like right next to you over here, and we'll
Yep.
just be side by side. And then,
Oh
I'll have
look,
one of them.
are you Donnie? He's in the YouTube side. Have you landed? Are you
Uh-oh.
what's going on here? Is
Oh
he
no, he's jealous. I didn't. Oh my,
is he
Johnny, I love you. I love you. I'm not taking. I'm not. I
is
am
he
not
is
the
it
voice. I have no voice. I am not any kind of voice.
well let's see here. He didn't get the link because he wasn't home. But let's see. I'll send him the link here. See if he'll
Oh no,
jump in. But yeah. Oh, he's saying he just got to the gate, so
that's
maybe
fine.
he won't come on from the airport. But yeah, no, we still think that you're one of the greatest guys, even though you kind of you're friends with Jamie Cowan as well. So that's won't keep that totally against you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But yeah, and maybe you can kind of get in on one of our nights when we go live from up at his compound, because I still haven't beat him yet this month. I've got to. We've both been kind of under the weather, so I haven't had a chance to go up and play him. But I've got to. I get one win a month, and I haven't had it yet for July. So
All right. Well, just let me know, and I'll do my best to do it.
Yeah, we go, and that's the thing about Jamie is he's another guy that I know some people kind of get at him a bit, but it's fun. He likes to laugh when he plays, and he likes to have fun and innovate his shots, because that's his one phrase that drives me nuts is, "Hey, watch this," and it's just then he just
Watch this.
It's just some like stupid shot where I had like bags on the back of the hole the one time, and he rolled it like it was a ramp and kind of went around the hole and then in, and I was like, come on, it's
Man, I made this great shot, and I made this great roll shot. It did it was like a mail slot,
yeah,
the mail slot, back left
yeah,
corner, mail slot, and I'm like, the only way this is going is if I roll it. I'm rolling a power dragon. It's tough as shit, but it does like an octopus thing. I hit this thing, I roll it up there, it goes in, it mail slots, octopus, slitters in there. It's like there's nothing there. I'm like, dude, that's got to be one of the greatest shots, and there was no fucking camera. My fucking opponent's like, yeah, lucky bounce.
yeah.
You got it. I'm like, dude, you didn't just see what I just saw. Like, you're just saying lucky bounce. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, even with Jamie, there's been nights where we've been up there and he'll break out the golf clubs, and we'll have like those little golf practice wiffle balls, and we're trying to put them in the hole in the cornhole boards, because
dude,
because that's just the type
next
of
time
guy he
around,
is.
get a bunch of mini bags. Get a bunch of mini bags and throw mini bags on a big board.
We've been there,
That's
done that.
that's blast, bro. That's more fun than I've ever had.
Yeah, it's well, we'll have to do a night from here to talk with him, because we've done cornhole Jenga there as well, which is kind of like we each stack up a set of bags, and you have to put them in front of the hole or somewhere on the board, and you can't knock off the other. If you knock one of the bags from the other guy's stack in the hole, he gets those points.
He gets those points,
right? So so you could be getting like possibly a 24-point round.
We got to be filming this stuff, man. This is this is comedy gold. This is like sports gold here.
But
we got to film
and the other thing is what you don't really realize at the end of the day then is then it's practice for your cut shots, trying to cut around these pile of bags and as well, right?
It's all practice. It's all practice. It's all it's all practice until somebody gets drunk.
Yeah, and that's then it's still not good at all.
And then it's still practice.
Yeah. So again, thank you for coming on. And
yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man. I love being on here. Thank you, man.
I love talking to you, because it's just there's always just you get some sort of knowledge of the game whenever we talk with you. So
cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and we'll have you on again. And when you come up here, definitely have you on the show and get some stuff done. So
perfect. Well, appreciate it. Thank you much.
Thank you for coming on, and if everyone else will be back next week, Donnie should be back. Hopefully they'll let him through customs, because he has an issue. He had an issue leaving Aruba this morning, and now because it seems like whenever he leaves and trying to get back in the States, there's an issue with him letting him back in. So
Okay.
so again, hopefully he's
Okay.
back. Maybe Maddie will be the regular. We'll change the voice to the bagsmith.
Bagsmith. Yeah.
Yeah. So see everyone else next week, and hopefully I'll get live from the JC Cornhole compound. I won't be at league night, so there will not be an airmail shot. Well, there's no money left in it because Justin Clark already took out the couple $1,000 Thursday night from that airmail shot. But we'll be back at some point with some more live content. So everyone have fun, keep throwing bags, and just be nice to each other, because Maddie's nice to everybody, and that's
What he said.
all we need.